Hello, I am Megan Chappa, host of Travel Radio Podcast, and this is a video edition. And I am pleased to have on my podcast for the first time, Pam Jarvis. So Pam, welcome to Travel Radio Podcast.
Hi, Megan. Thanks for having me here today. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, Pam, you are with Distinctive Voyages, and we are going to talk today about why you should river cruise, especially why this would be a good option coming up to our new post-COVID lifestyle and travel. So would you introduce yourself and what Distinctive Voyages is? Because I'm sure that travel agents that are watching are aware, but maybe just regular people that want to book river cruises might not be. So Please take it away.
Thanks. Well, thanks, Megan. And again, thanks for inviting me to join you today. I work for a company called Travel Leaders Network. It's part of Travel Leaders Group. And I run all of the cruise programs for our consortia. And I got into this because I love cruising. Mm-hmm. I spent the majority of my career in hospitality, working for a major hotel company around the world, and enjoyed living and working outside of the U.S. a couple times and traveling. And over the years, I fell in love with cruising as well as discovering new cultures. And I eventually started traveling with friends, and I would plan all their trips. And then I'd turn it over to another travel agency, or I'd give it to a cruise line. And I thought, this is silly. Why don't I get paid? So I actually bought a travel agency. Okay. And I owned it for several years, and it was an agency that was focused primarily on cruising. Mm-hmm. And I love ocean cruising, so that we know that that's wonderful. And then I discovered river cruising about 10 years ago and absolutely fell in love with it. And since then, I've taken a few of them. Not enough. I can always do more, right? Yeah. You can always be on the water. And about 7 years ago, I was approached by the master franchise of the travel agency that I owned and asked if I'd come on board to work for them. So I did. And I actually was promoted into this role 4 years ago. And Distinctive Voyages is one of a few of our cruise specialty programs that we create for our advisors that are in our network. We have about 55,000 agents that actually are part of Travel Leaders Network. And they book into our programs that we create for them. And Distinctive Voyages is our premier program. It's a hosted cruise program whereby when clients book through our agencies, our member agencies, they also receive the services. We have a host that's on board that is like a concierge for all of the guests, that is representing all of the agencies that have booked their clients onto the ship. They're also invited to a private welcome reception that no one else on the ship can go to. And they have time to meet with the crew and the captain and various people. And then they also receive a complimentary shore excursion above and beyond everything else that they're receiving from the cruise line. And it is a widely popular program that is booked a lot through our agencies. It's one of the top reasons why agencies join our network and one of the top reasons why they stay. So we're very proud of it. And the last couple of years, we've added river cruising to the program as well, and it has taken off. So it's a wonderful program, and it's a great complement to all cruising. And then bringing river cruising into it was just the next logical addition. So that's where we are with that, and that's who I am.
Okay, great. Now we have some pictures that I'm going to go through as you give us some more information about why river cruising is a good idea post COVID-19. But firstly, I want to just kind of do a day in the life of river cruising. So just to start off, you like to say that it is adult camp, which I like this idea.
Sure.
Yeah. So do we want to talk about maybe just quickly some advantages to river cruising, or why you might river cruise before we get into, a day in the life?
Sure. I mean, I think one of the great things about river cruising is, as much as I love ocean cruising, you touch the perimeter of countries. And what happens on river cruises, you go into the interior. So you get to unpack once, just like an ocean cruise, and then you get to travel throughout a country rather than packing and unpacking as you do on other types of tours. And you have everything's included, which is wonderful. So you don't have to worry about planning a tour if you don't want to, because every day a tour is included, and
Okay.
you have a variety of them, and we'll talk about those, I'm sure, in a little bit.
Okay.
And the other thing is, if you have a tendency towards motion sickness, you don't have to worry about that. These ships are flat bottomed. You sleep like a baby because there is no wake. There is no motion of the ocean, so to speak. It's
Yeah.
just very comforting. And I would say the other thing that I love about it is that it is, it's an intimate experience. If you're not into the large cruise experience, this is one where you're with 150 to 175 people. And the crew know you immediately. They call you by name, and you get to make friends from all over
Hmm.
very quickly. And that's kind of why I call it adult camp. Primarily, you see mostly adults on these cruises of various ages. It's not just for old people or retirees, as some people may think. It's really designed for all age groups, and it's if you love history, this is a great place. If you love wine or beer or food, I mean, this is another way to experience different places. And then also even like Christmas markets, and or if you want to travel the
Yeah.
world. So there's just a wide variety of reasons why you want to take a river cruise.
Yeah,
But
let's kind of paint a day in the life of a river cruise. So you
sure.
wake up.
Wake up and whoo, here we are. And you know what's wonderful about river cruises too is you have a wide variety of options. And some of the things that have started, especially in the last few years, is you wake up, and if you're into fitness and you want to do a yoga class or stretching or workout, there's these days there's fitness instructors on board that in the early mornings you can go and take a yoga lesson on the top of deck of the ship. So
Yeah.
here you are in a beautiful countryside enjoying yoga outdoors before you go down for breakfast.
Mm.
And then they also, so you wake up, you can go do that, and then you have breakfast. And breakfast can be everything from a la carte. They also have, now, post COVID, I'm not sure what the buffets will look like so much. It might be all serviced.
My
But
guess is they're
until then, it
gone.
was, buffets as well as a la carte.
Yeah.
And, you can have anything, pretty much anything you want, from as well as champagne to orange juice to coffee, whatever you want.
Okay.
And after that, you usually in the mornings, you're most days, if you're not cruising down the river, you're probably in a city and you're getting ready to take a tour.
Okay.
And as I said, every day a tour is included. And these days, you can choose between a variety of tours. So if you're very active minded and you want to take a bike ride, many times, depending on the time of the year and the location, they're going to have a bike ride for people who want to go take a bike tour.
Cool.
So there are people that have done bike tours in Lyon. They've done bike tours down a river path. So you meet the ship down river somewhere,
Cool.
or back. And then there's also the standard tour where you either walk into the city because you're right there, and then you go and visit either cathedrals or museums, or you learn about chocolate making or whatever that is in that region of the world or that city.
Mm.
And then there's also, for those who don't walk as well, they will also have coach tours that will take you around. So
Okay.
you can also do that. So, usually the tours will last about half a day, most likely, and then you're back by lunchtime. Because, just like any cruise, you don't miss a meal and you will not go hungry. And if you do, it's your own fault because
Right.
there's plenty to eat and drink. But usually you do come back for lunch. And lunch, again, is usually includes, in the past, has included buffets as well as a la carte. But again, going past COVID-19, I think that's going to change.
Mhm.
But you'll still enjoy wonderful meals. If you don't want a full meal, you can also choose, a lot of the cruise lines offer light dining up in what is the living room area. It's a living room bar area that's where most people gather.
Mhm.
The other thing is so you can enjoy, so that's what happens. And then in the afternoon, you have free time to go into town on your own and explore. And a
Mm.
lot of people do that. A lot of people will go in and maybe they'll go visit the pubs, or they'll go take a visit to another museum. Cruise lines will also offer maybe a secondary tour. Sometimes you pay a net little fee for them,
Mhm.
but they'll offer things like cooking lessons or wine
Cool.
tasting or wine blending. So again, whatever suits your fancy. Now, the other side of that is you want to relax, and
Yeah.
you could just stay on the ship if you'd like. And what's so nice is, you practically have the ship to yourself. You can go in and you can sit upstairs and you can read a book. Some of the ships actually have pools or hot tubs you can lay out if
Mm-hmm.
you just want to sit and enjoy the countryside, or you can sit inside, depending on the weather or your preference. So you can do that. There's coffee all day long, teas, water, soda, and usually anything you want like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you can enjoy that. And then, you come back and there's tea. You can have high tea if you'd like. If you don't want that, you can also just go to your room or to one of the other to the living room and relax. When you get back, usually, your room has been serviced just like other cruises. Your staterooms are serviced twice a day at least.
Mm-hmm.
And what's wonderful is water's included, so they're refreshing the water in your stateroom. It's fresh, it's bottled water.
Mm-hmm.
You have internet, so if you want to get online and you can post pictures and talk to the family, you can do that, or friends.
Mm-hmm.
You can also watch a movie if you'd like, or take a nap. A lot of times you take a nap because you've just gotten in all your steps for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then you enjoy dinner. What's interesting, and one of the reasons I call it adult camp, is every night, usually before dinner time, because dinner is usually at the same time, and as all meals, and the dining rooms are large enough because again, you're talking 150 to 175 people. We're not talking thousands, so it's an intimate experience. But usually ahead of time, there'll be a reception of some sort, or cocktails, or a captain's welcome party, and in the living room. And every night you'll at least have the captain, the hotel manager, the activities, or and manager will talk about what the entertainment will be for that evening. So what you don't want to miss.
Mm-hmm.
They'll also talk about the next day, and even into the evening. They'll say, if you want to go into town, we're going to be here until at least 2 a.m. So please go out and enjoy the city.
Which is not all that common on an ocean cruise. A lot of times it's not all that common on an ocean cruise. Like a lot of times you have to be back at 8 o'clock, 5 o'clock, because they've got to take off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, I'm going to get into your pictures because I've forgotten to do that because I was just interested in your story. So you're going to continue to be on the screen as we go through your pictures. So,
okay.
So that's awesome. And then, when we're coming back from this amazing day, we're on the boat, we've had our dinner, we've had a cocktail. Can you talk about like going into the accommodation?
Sure. Your staterooms are, they've really changed over the years. They were always nice. Usually they were a little in the previous years, I would say they'd be on the small side. Good use of space. Let's put it that way, because, river cruise ships cannot be too wide because they have to get through locks, and they have a certain width and length that they can be. So there's only so much space. Well, over the years, they're still limited, but maybe they've changed the configuration. So now you come back into your stateroom, and the rooms are comfortable. They're very nicely appointed. The bedding is very comfortable, from really high-end luxury hotel beds, to regular beds. They're all nice. The bathrooms, heated floors, heated towel racks. Oh my gosh. And the showers they really know how to make good use of the space, but really high-end appointments. And also even the complimentary toiletries. You're talking about, very high end. So, you're enjoying that. Your room has been refreshed. You'll have, water. You have free internet, so you can, work in your room if you want, recharge, all of that. So there's all of that that's there for you. So, as you're working on the newest ship that I was on, they actually had a wide variety of regular plugs, but also they had data ports, so that you could charge that way as well. So because the world is changing and people are using a wider variety of electronics, so that way you're not fighting over that one plug to charge your cell phone or your laptop or iPad. So it's a very nice experience. It's relaxing, refreshing. Some of the staterooms have balconies that you can sit out on, and some of them actually will have another little sitting area for you. So again, I think they're very comfortable, and big picture windows to balconies. So
I was just going to ask, are there any interior or everything's at least got a window?
Everything has a window. I I would say there are a few that are that may have the windows a little higher that give you natural light, but you don't naturally. Those are the entry level staterooms. There's no interiors. Everything is there's just on each side. So they're all exteriors. But I will say the entry level will usually have windows that are a little higher up that you can't see out of.
Okay.
But that's a minimum number.
Okay, so then, we've talked about the adult camp options, and your pictures are pretty awesome. We've just gone through the Christmas markets,
Oh,
which in the
nice.
snow looks amazing. We did one this year, well, several, but not in the snow, so these look awesome. But I did do this Vienna Christmas market that you have pictures of, and it was awesome.
It's wonderful.
But what about, we were talking previously about some family options, because there aren't many, because there's not exactly room for like a kids club. So you will be hanging out with your children. But if your children are, of the disposition that they could go on a river cruise, there actually are a couple options, and Disney offers one.
Yes.
Will you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. Disney, Disney has come up with, they have Adventures by Disney, and that is part of the program. They have approached one of the river cruise companies, AMA Waterways, and they partnered together to put together a really wonderful family experience. And to the point that it sold out immediately because Disney takes care of all the activities. And they're the ones that are doing there's the kids programs, there's the adult only programs, and it's all, highly culturally intensive, and they're amazing. And so it was so popular that this has been added to a second ship. And what AMA Waterways has done, is they have actually, reconfigured their staterooms and to make sure that they can accommodate families of 3 and 4 with sofa beds. And some of the staterooms actually are connecting, which has never been done before.
Yeah.
So those are really taking off. And there are some other smaller lines that will look at children's or kids programs or family focus programs, usually during summer or like the spring break times. Just depends. They come and go. So yeah, there's those there.
So have you heard about these travel bubbles that are popping up, especially around Europe?
I've heard a little bit about them. It's relatively new, and I think it's an outgrowth of COVID, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's really, I think this is something that will be interesting to watch, to see how the river cruise companies work with that, with the bubbles, because of, being a collection of countries touching each other. And with rivers going through multiple countries, they'll have to work through what are the restrictions, what they can and cannot do, especially in the near term, to see, because it won't be as easy, with open borders like it has been, to just walk off the ship and enjoy, a city. Now, the other side of it is you also have cruises that are in singular countries, which will take away that issue. But I think that is something that we're going to have to watch, in the near future. And the cruise lines will very much be all over it, obviously, and they'll be communicating what the requirements are. And also travel professionals are going to know that too, because they'll be communicated to know that.
Yeah, and I think there's kind of some, as far as if you wanted to travel, you wanted to cruise, and you were thinking about a river cruise, because these boats are smaller and they have the ability to navigate, and there's not as many of them as there are maybe ocean vessels, I think there's kind of a little bit more protection in your vacation. I mean, this is theory. I don't know. But, that they could have the flexibility to navigate within a country. So like maybe your trip is rerouted, but maybe it's not completely canceled if something has to change between the countries.
Very much so. Very much so. Or maybe the river cruise companies are very nimble. Let's put it that way, because they have to adjust to the tides of the river. Sometimes they can't get under a bridge because the water's too high, or maybe the water's too low. There's all kinds of variables. And I know that in the past, cruise lines, the river cruise companies have done things like, let's say you're on I'll just use one, for example, Budapest to Frankfurt, or Budapest to Nuremberg.
Okay.
And you get halfway through the cruise and the ship can't go any further upriver. So what will happen is there's obviously another cruise ship coming downriver,
Yeah.
maybe doing the same itinerary. They may meet in a city, and what they'll do, maybe they're the exact same ship configuration. They have everybody, you pack your bags, the crew take your bags off, they put them back on to the other ship in the same stateroom, and then you just continue on your journey. And so you can switch ships halfway through and continue and have the full journey. Other times they may turn around and that maybe they stay in a port longer, or they can change and be nimble. I think, and that's something that I think with travel all around, and part of the adventure of traveling is being flexible and being open to the adventure.
Yeah. It's
I
so
can tell
true.
you, yeah. I
If
mean,
you can
I
say
can
it
tell
didn't
you,
kill me, you can now
no,
laugh about it.
and I will tell you on that Christmas market cruise, that one was really crazy because I have never seen so much snow in my life.
Yeah,
And
there's here, I'll get to those pictures. You keep talking.
okay, and honestly, the cruise line was amazing the way that they adjusted, because the ship couldn't get upriver. It couldn't pick us up in Nuremberg because it had snowed so much, and then they had a thaw, and the river rose, and the ship couldn't get up to Nuremberg.
Oh, wow.
So it was downriver. So they had to coach us, bus us back and forth a little bit. But I mean, it was fine. And they accommodated all the tours accordingly. They accommodated our time in the cities because we were going to go to the river, to the Christmas markets.
Yeah.
And we really didn't want to miss that. And even in Budapest, when we got there, it was so cold, and we were doing the city tour. And they said, look, we just can't let you out of the coach. It was like minus 15. And they were like, take it out. So what they would do is they'd say, okay, you can get out, take a picture, and get back on the ship. So we would do that. But it was crazy cold. And but they adjusted for it. And the food adjusted for it. It was a lot of hot soups and, foods that would make you feel warm and comfy. And it was kind of crazy, but it was fun. And it was something that all of us remember because of that cold, being unusually cold during that time. But it made for the Christmas markets to be even more
beautiful,
more Christmas-like and beautiful. And my sister is with me in those pictures. And
just as you said it, I put that picture up.
Oh, good. Yeah, she this was her first river cruise, and she still talks about it to this day. And we're trying to plan another one with family to go, because I know they would have fun. And the other thing about it is, with that cruise, is that we were going through the Czech Republic and through Germany, Austria, and down into Hungary, and the tour guides bring their culture to life, and they also talk a lot about the war, because it's like it just happened. And my sister has never been she loves other things than history. She has other interests in life. I'm a huge history buff. And she said to me, I love this. I learned so much. It really brought it all to life for her. And I think that's another joy of this, that you learn, and you learn things that you never thought you knew you wanted to learn. And then when we went to Salzburg, we both were like, oh, can't believe we're here. It was so beautiful. And, there was no Sound of Music type tour.
I was going to say, did you sing?
No, we didn't sing, but they talked about the filming of the movie and everything. And then some really interesting stories about that. And then, of course, the Christmas market there. And again, freezing cold. One of the days that it was beautiful, sunny. So you see the Alps, you see the mountains, and it's all the snow everywhere, and bright blue sunny skies. Absolutely beautiful. So, we had a wonderful time on that trip, but we froze. We really froze, but we had a good time.
So which one was your favorite? In the pictures, we can see that you've taken some, some wine themed and some Christmas themed, and like the castle theme on the Rhine.
Right.
What was there a favorite?
I would say there's two favorites. The Christmas market was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And the other one was I guess you could call it a wine theme cruise, Avignon to Lyon, or Lyon to Avignon, through the Burgundy and Provence areas. I actually have done that one twice on the same ship with the same company. It just happened. I went one time for pleasure, and another time for a work-related event. And I know it's tough, but someone has to do it.
I was going to say, tell people how they can get into the travel industry.
It's wonderful. And yeah, those, I would say those were my two favorites. I love France as well. And, you know, we tasted amazing wines on that ship, on that cruise. And they were all varied types. And, you know, if you love rosés, and they've become very popular,
Hmm.
you know, we're down in the region where they're made, and they were beautiful. So, and really wonderful wines. So we had a good time with that.
Awesome. So I think that, I mean, I wanted to kind of give a overall, like, there are some cool reasons why you should river cruise. And I also wanted to highlight Distinctive Voyages because you guys add little bonuses on top of
Mhm.
the already amazing itineraries. And so I think, I want to ask you, is there anything else we've left out? And then I would like you to point us to where we can find Distinctive Voyages.
Sure. I would say the great thing about river cruising, and it's like ocean cruising, is there's a product for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if you want high end luxury, there are some amazing cruise lines out there that offer you some truly luxurious experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And also there are some that are, you know, from the, you know, very, they're all wonderful, but you know, all different price points, I
Yeah.
guess you could say. The other is if you're brand loyal to an ocean cruise company, you know, a couple of the ocean, you know, a couple of the cruise lines that are ocean cruise lines, or vice versa, I should say. So, for example, you've got Crystal Cruises, who is known for their high-end luxury ocean cruises,
Mm-hmm.
has now gotten into river cruising.
Sure.
And then you also have Viking, who's very well known, thank you, Downton Abbey and PBS, for river cruising, and they now do some very nice ocean cruising.
Yeah.
So there's complements there. So I would say, you know, don't limit yourself. You know, there's something for everyone and for every age group.
Yeah.
The thing is they are limited in their time. They run, I would say, 3/4 of the year, but come, you know, the end of December, usually they end towards the end of November
Mm-hmm.
through the Christmas market season, maybe middle of December. A couple of them do New Year's, but then they go into storage. You know, they do a lot of work in the wintertime, and then
Yeah.
they start back up in the spring.
Okay.
But there's a lot to see and do. So there's that. And then as it relates to, I forgot the other question. I'm sorry.
How can people
I get too busy
find
talking.
Distinctive Voyages, or if
Oh,
they just
sorry.
need help like sorting through the options?
Yes.
Give us some
Because of,
resources.
yeah, I would say, you know, as I mentioned earlier, I'm part of a wonderful company called Travel Leaders Network,
Okay.
and of which Distinctive Voyages is one of the many programs that we offer our travel professionals and advisors. And we have a website that is called travelleaders.com, www.travelleaders.com. I'll put a plug in there for that.
Okay.
And you can search for an advisor that specializes in everything, but especially if you're looking for a river cruise, we have advisors who have that noted. They have traveled extensively on river cruises. They've taken the training with the cruise lines. So they know the product. They know the ships. They know the regions of the world, because it's not just Europe. Again, you could travel all over the world on river cruises pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go to Africa, there's a cruise line that offers you safari type cruises on the Chobe River.
Yeah.
If you want to go to China, if you want to go to India, if you want to go to Egypt, they're there. So it's a matter of finding the right cruise, but it's also a matter of finding the right person to help you with that, navigate those waters, because there's a lot to learn and to make sure you're maximizing your time of what you want to do. So we have the site, like I said, the travelleaders.com site, that you can go and look for an agent you can look for location, if you want to look for someone that's near you, or you can look for someone that is an expert in a certain field, and they will help you. And the Distinctive Voyages program is something that is accessible only to those advisors. So if the general public was trying to book it or call a cruise line and ask about it, they would say, I don't know what you're talking about, because it's an exclusive program only to us.
Awesome.
And so that is another reason why you want to book with one of our travel advisors. And the other thing about those, they're combinable with all of the national offers that the cruise lines are offering. So, you know, you see the amazing offers out there. You can get all of that on top of these other complementary services and benefits through booking one of our travel leaders member agencies.
And I'll put
That's
the
great.
travel leaders, like wherever you're watching this, it'll be below in the notes. So I'll put the travel leaders website and all of that information in the show notes so people can get to that. And people that have heard Matthew Walgren's episodes, he actually has led one of the Distinctive Voyages, and he's done some of these cruises in like the Amazon and all those other extra places. So it's interesting. They were great episodes, and I mean, river cruising sounds like a really neat way to get close to the culture while, you know, just not spending all day in a tour bus. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
awesome.
It's the best of all worlds.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Pam, thanks for being on the podcast. And this is a video edition. So if you're listening, there is a place to watch it on YouTube. You'll see it, or also on Instagram. And you'll be able to see it and see all Pam's pictures from her great trips.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Megan. This has been fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope we
I've
can
had a good
find
time.
another reason to record soon. It's been great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love it. That'd be fun.
Okay, good. All right, well, thank you so much. This is Megan
Thanks.
Chappa of the Travel Radio Podcast saying good night or good morning.
Bye.